2 minutes, $1,000. What am I talking about? This setup, all battery powered, Bluetooth operated, compact, lightweight. Let's talk about it. I actually timed setting up these systems I have, so I timed it today. This was actually slightly under 2 minutes from the bags until you all set up, plugged in. Actually, there's only one wire to plug in, no AC to plug in, and $1,000. That's how much this setup will cost you. So pretty impressive. Let's get into the details. So on top, we have the famous, the most portable, the latest portable PA top out there right now, and pretty popular to say the least. I've made quite a few videos on this speaker. Go back and watch them if you're really interested so you get more details. And that is the Alto Busker. And the current price is $350. That is the least expensive top out there. On the bottom is our new introductory offering, and that is the Mackie ThumpSub Go, and that is a battery-powered Bluetooth subwoofer, and it's pretty revolutionary, very new on the market. I just picked it up, $600. Sub pole, don't go out and buy something expensive. This is from Sweetwater. I'll put the link if you're interested. $35. Gives you nice height, all you need. And that pole will hold up a much heavier speaker also. That pole will hold up a 12-inch speaker, no problem. I think it's actually rated pushing close to 100 pounds. Alto Busker is 13 pounds, so I don't think it's having much trouble. One cable, XLR cable, from the top to the bottom or from the bottom to the top. We'll talk about how to connect it. And on Amazon, a good cable is $20. And that's it. So add it up, it's about $1,000, exactly. I was thinking of the closest competitor, and that would be the JBL Eon Mark II, which is an all batteries column system. And that, actually the price went up on that system, is now $1,500. So that might be a future video to compare a $1,500 system to this system. Can you save $500 and get the same performance? Well, I'll tell you right now, the bass is better on this. The Eon Mark II is a true column array, and it will throw a very wide sound stage, and it'll fill up a room that this little speaker cannot do. But this little speaker is loud. It goes up to 106 decibels or dBs, and that is equal to the Bose S1 Pro Plus. So even though it's small, as I say, small but mighty, it doesn't have much bass response. So if you're buying it just as a standalone speaker, it's not something I would perform with, actually. I've told people that. It's just a nice little Bluetooth speaker that I use for the garage or the backyard barbecue. But if you do want to use it in a performance setting, then you're missing all those mid-range frequencies and, of course, the low end. And that's where the Mackie ThumpSub Go comes in. It really fills it in, and now we have a full-range system. So I'm going to give you a sound demo. I just want to give you a heads-up warning, and that is on YouTube, sub bass does not translate very well, at least with the microphone I'm using. I don't have the most expensive equipment to present bass on YouTube. So a lot of my videos, I listen back to it, and personally, I'm very disappointed. It all sounds the same with or without the subwoofer. But I'll tell you, when you're in person, it's a huge difference. So how do you solve that? You have to go to the store. You have to try to audition these things in person. I know that's not easy to find both pieces. And when you're in the store, Guitar Center or wherever, they don't really like you cranking it up, in front of all their other customers. So it's hard. Of course, some people do the other way around, is they buy the pieces, and if they don't like it, they return. I have to say I'm guilty of that also for a couple of units I bought. But, these companies, they want you to be happy, and they have a return policy. So some people, including myself, have taken advantage of that. Okay, we're ready for a quick sound demo. It's a non-copyrighted track. Don't ask me the title of the track. I don't know. I just got it off the internet somewhere. When you see the boxing glove, the subwoofer is on, kicking you know what. Yeah, now you know how big my hands are. When you see the boxing glove disappear, that means just the Alto is playing. So we're going to give it a couple of sound demos so you can compare it back and forth. Here we go. Let's talk about setup. Couldn't be much easier. We're talking about one cable. Remember, there's no AC cables involved. Normally, you would have an AC cable for your top and a second AC cable for your sub. In this situation, in this high-tech day and age, we have all battery power, no AC needed. Game changer. So there's two ways to set this up. I'm setting it up as the Thump Go as my Bluetooth sending speaker. So my phone or tablet is connected to the Thump Go. And then I'm using a simple XLR cable from the output of the sub into channel 1 of the top, the Alto Busker. And that's it. Set your channels so you don't have any clipping. That in that demonstration, there was no clipping involved. I was over 100 dB. Pretty impressive for this little speaker in a big open space. And that's it. Now, you can set this up the other way. You can go from the mix out or the AUX out of your top. Here we have an XLR out into the sub. I'm finding the sound is exactly the same. The only difference is, and I called Mackie on this, when you go from the top into the sub, where the overload light, it says overload, you're going to get a signal, green signal. And so that it's kind of confusing because people are going to think they're overloading the sub and they're not. All that green light is just showing you have a good signal. Mackie told me unless you see red, you don't have to worry about it. So this setup where I'm going from the sub into the top, I'm bypassing that overload light. So I don't know, it's just one less thing to think about. But don't be worried if you see the overload light unless it's red. And that is solid red. He even said if it's blinking a little bit of red, it's okay. Solid red, you got to turn it down. But I'm no one to push my equipment to the max. Here's the other way of setting up the system, and that is with the subwoofer in the vertical position. The logo does move if that's something that you're interested in. And the top is on a regular speaker stand. Now, a lot of people don't like this because the speaker stand is more to carry than a sub pole, but there is the advantages of the speaker stand goes higher to get your speaker up above the heads of the audience, but then it has the disadvantage of it's easily knocked over, so liability reasons. So it's personal preference. The speaker stand is more expensive. I think this one's $50. The sub pole was $35. So it's a certain look. This looks more like your column array look with the top above the sub. very personal preference. Here I have the modification I made to the sub. My previous video, I was complaining about, for some reason, Mackie put two status lights, two green lights, one on top, one on bottom, and I didn't know why, what was the purpose, and it kind of bothered me. So I took some black electrical tape and I put it over the top one, and problem solved. One status light. Won't bother me anymore. And here I have my college dorm setup. I wish I had this in college. No speaker stand, no sub pole, just your top over 100 dB and thumping bass to wake up the whole floor. This would have been good back in the days. So let's wrap it up. We're talking money here. This is the least expensive, full range, all battery, Bluetooth setup I can think of. If someone can think of something less expensive, I want to know about it. Now, there is something called the Ion, and there's a couple of copies of the Alto out there. And so I'm not going to include that. I like to deal with decent companies that are going to be here during my warranty period. Some of those speakers, a lot of them, who knows, in the warranty's 3 years, who knows if they'll be around if you have an issue. So I'm not going to include super cheap copies. So did you hear the difference? I did. It was huge in person here. We were over 100 dB on the top, about 101 or so. Remember, that was before any kind of clip light. I could have pushed it higher because, as the manufacturers all say, as long as you're not on solid red, you have more headroom. But yeah, this little speaker is rated at 106 dB, and I believe it. It's very clean. If you watch my other videos on the Alto Busker, it's surprisingly a clean sound on the top end. But on the other hand, unfortunately, that's all it has. It doesn't have any mid-range. It doesn't have any bass. So by itself, it's, like I said, it's just a barbecue garage speaker. And it's the best Bluetooth speaker for that purpose out there. I made a video about that. But if you really want sound, or if you're performing in front of people, then you need the low end. You need that mid-range smoothness that the subwoofer will add. So this subwoofer is a game changer. I'm really excited. I'm gonna be testing it with a bunch of tops. This was my very first sound test. I'm gonna be testing it with the S1 Pro. I'm gonna test it with the eVerse 8. Yeah, a couple. And then I'm even gonna test it on the tops I have that are in Bluetooth, which I was never able to take out without a, with a Bluetooth, without a mixer, like my QSC K8.2 or CP8. So here I can leave my mixer at home and I have Bluetooth. So that's gonna be an exciting set of tests too. But yeah, if you're strapped for money and you're looking for full range sound, this is it, $1,000. And I'll put this up against the JBL Mark II, which is $1,500. And it'll be a different sound. Like I said, the Mark II will fill a huge space, that column system. But the bass on this will outperform the Mark II 10-inch. That's guaranteed. So it kind of comes down to your preference. I'm not going to say which is better. It's personal preference. Okay, this is Bill. I hope you enjoyed this sound test. There'll be a whole bunch more. Oh, I forgot to mention that the test that I'm really interested in, I might save that for last, is how will the eVerse 12 do with this bottom? Will the bottom keep up? Because the bottom is rated at 123 dBs. The eVerse 12 is 126. So maybe the bottom can keep up with the top. I'm not sure. That will be an interesting test. A big 12-inch with a double 8-inch. That's the Mackie ThumpSub Go is double 8-inch. So more tests in the future. Hope you enjoyed this one. This is Bill. Later.